All right, Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs are wrapping up their second full week of spring practice. There's a lot to talk about, but today's video, I'm talking about the linebacker group, particularly, or specifically, I guess I should say, is the inside linebackers. Kirby Smart had a lot to say about this group. Of course, it's led by Small Munden, the veteran, experienced, multi-year starter at inside linebacker, one of the best inside linebackers returning across college football for the 2024 season. But overall, there's a lot of talent. And someone asked him, Kirby Smart this past week, saying, hey, what's your first impression of the inside linebacker group? And he said, young. He said, that's my first impression. They're really young. A lot of youth there and a lot of repetitions. Of course, you can read this, more of his quotes over on Dawg Post. He said, Raylan Wilson, C.J. Allen are way ahead in terms of playing time. Of course, those guys played a lot last year, made a really nice impact as a true freshman. C.J. Allen won, SEC Defensive Freshman of the Week, several times. Raylan Wilson, a really fast, instinctive, athletic linebacker who I think dealt with some injuries throughout the season here and there, but he's going to push C.J. Allen for playing time. He started against Florida State. These two are really, really good. But, Kirby went on to say, this is their second spring to play deep. In a perfect world, we would like to see these guys coming into playing time. That's not the case. They got thrust into it. He's talking about last year playing these freshmen at linebacker. That's not really ideal. He said between Smile and the next guy up, there is a really big gap. Yeah, Small Munden's coming back for his fourth year. C.J. Allen, Raylan Wilson, the next two at inside linebacker. This is just their second year. Those were pups last year. They were really talented young pups. Now they are starting to become, fully grown sized dogs that are coming after you. There's a lot of potential with both of them. I think they're both on pace to have very successful careers at Georgia. In fact, C.J. Allen made 41 tackles last year as a freshman linebacker at the University of Georgia, a place where you've got to be really, really good. If you want to start at Georgia at middle linebacker under Glenn Schumann, the best linebackers and defensive coordinator right now in college football, you're going to do that as a freshman and be fifth on the team. That's a talented dude. Now, I know they didn't have a ton of depth there and they kind of, had to play him, which is what Kirby Smart alluded to, but this is a guy who I think could have a really, really big sophomore season. Raylan Wilson could. It's going to be tough to get that guy off the field or keep that guy off the field if he's not starting. Jaylen Walker, who I'm going to talk about in just a second. Kirby spoke a lot about Jaylen Walker. He's another guy who can play inside, can play outside. I don't know if he's talked about specifically the incoming freshman group, which is phenomenal. And Justin Williams, number one linebacker in America last year in high school, coming in, 6'3", 215, runs track, just muscles everywhere, can run, can hit, he's instinctive, he can cover, he can play sideline to sideline, he can attack the quarterback. He's an easy five-star for a reason. They went down to Texas, or over to Texas to get this kid. He's a big deal. Chris Cole from Virginia, long, athletic, another multi-sport guy, was a track and field guy, can run. Just a natural athlete who's quickly becoming a better and better linebacker. And he's going to become a better linebacker under Glenn Schumann and the Georgia defensive staff. There's no doubt about it. Chris Jones, another guy who can play inside, outside. So they've got more bodies at inside linebacker. But again, they're young. What else did he say? Go back to these Kirby quotes that, again, you can read on Dawg Post. He said part of that gap is created because the two young guys played well and were good last year. If you're sitting behind that, sometimes you start questioning what you should do. The guy who has had a good spring so far has been Troy Bowles, a guy I haven't even mentioned that yet. He came in with C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson last year. He was a freshman. He's done a good job. He's picking things up. He didn't get the benefit on his high school not letting him go mid-year. He's a guy who came last summer. He didn't come in last spring like Raylan Wilson and C.J. Allen, who were basically preparing for TCU. As soon as they got to campus, they were helping with the team. He didn't get that benefit of getting in with those guys, and that's why he's kind of behind them, basically. He's just as good of an athlete as those guys. Still talking about Troy Bowles. He is going to help us on special teams. He's going to help the defense. The other three guys who are here mid-year are providing good depth and are learning. He's talking about, again, Justin Williams, Chris Cole, and Chris Jones. A lot of Chris's, a lot of Jones, a lot of guys with the same last name, for sure. A lot of Harris's. A lot of a lot of the guys with the same last name. I'm sure you've all picked up on that by now. But covering recruiting, even guys that aren't picking Georgia, just really good players in the state. A lot of these guys have the same last names. It's pretty wild. Or is it? I don't really know. He talked about Jaylen Walker. Kirby Smart was asked specifically about his development. Kind of recruited him to play inside. He's one of the best pass rushers on the team, no doubt about it. I think he led the team last year in sacks, but played, from what I can remember, I don't know the exact numbers, but felt like he played more outside linebacker and on the edge than a traditional inside linebacker where you've seen Roquan and Nakobe Dean play and, those true inside linebackers, Small Munden, CJ Allen type, but he can play everywhere. Kirby said he's played a little bit of what we call Sam Star. He played out in space. He did rush off the edge. He is a really good edge rusher. He knows that was part of the development plan because he's seen Quay Walker do it. He knows that was part of the development plan because, I already read that line. He's seen the other football players in our program develop as an off-ball linebacker and an end-of-the-line linebacker, so in the middle or on the line. He's using this spring to springboard himself into a better overall football player. It was not a hard sell because he has wonderful parents and siblings. Started talking about his family. His dad is a coach. They really were. It was an easy recruitment to cover. Jaylen Walker has his head on straight. He's a 100%, max effort type of guy. Loves to compete. Has really become one of the leaders, not only on Georgia's defense but on the team right now. He's a guy that commands respect and does things the right way. He's going to make it in life, whether it's in football or not. Jaylen Walker is going to be very, very successful just as a human. But he could play in the NFL if he wants to do that. He kind of needs a big year this year. I think this could be a big year. He can obviously come back for the 25 season. This is just year 3 for him. Oh, yeah, this is year 3. He was in that 22 class. So this is year 3. But long, athletic, and a guy who could, maybe wrestle in the WWE one day after football. I mean, he is a physically imposing linebacker who really got after the quarterback, made a big sack and forced fumble against the Gators, against TCU in the national championship game late in his freshman year. Obviously, was making a big impact. He can deliver a hit, man. That guy can leave a bruise. But as far as the inside linebackers go, a lot of talent, some inexperience, but again, CJ Allen having to play a lot last year, and even Raylan Wilson starting against Florida State, that experience is huge, and that's going to make things a little easier when they're both thrown into playing time next year. Small Munden is hurt right now. He's not there this spring, so this spring is huge. I mean, they're basically the top 2 linebackers getting the number 1 reps this spring. So the young guys are providing depth, and they're going to be on their heels too. They're just too talented. They're too good, the incoming freshman linebackers coming in. But if you're CJ Allen, you're kind of turning into a leader on the defense. If you can, win that job next to Small Munden, kind of keep Raylan Wilson as the first inside linebacker rotating in. But they're a very talented group, and Glenn Schumann's the best at what he does. Anyone who plays under him is going to be successful, and CJ Allen is well on his way. Small Munden could turn into a first-round pick next year. He was a fun guy to cover. I saw him play a couple times at Paulding County, played running back, linebacker, but just a physically imposing guy, and he's turning into more of a vocal leader, but he's kind of a quiet assassin out there at linebacker who, brings more experience. And a multi-year starter, that's huge at both quarterback, Georgia's got that, and at middle linebacker. A guy who started, this will be his 3rd year starting. That's gigantic for a team that has championship aspirations. To have your leader on offense and defense returning is gigantic. Now, at center, which is probably the 3rd position, I'd say you'd love to have that guy coming back, is Jared Wilson, who everyone's kind of raving about right now. So this team has a chance to be very good, and I'm interested to see how these linebackers continue to develop and turn into the player that I feel like they have the potential to. CJ Allen's only going to get better. Raylan Wilson's only going to get better. Does Small Munden win a Butkus Award? Roquan Smith did it. Nakobe Dean did it. Who's next? Is it Justin Williams, the freshman, one day? It's always going to be a very talented group and one of the best groups in college football. And even though Kirby Smart says that they're young, which they are, I still think they have a very good chance of being the best linebacker group, even on the inside as well. So talent all over the place. If that group can be as good as what they should be. They're going to lead a defense that should be one of the best in college football. You can read all about that over on Dawg Post. Again, you can sign up to our free newsletter. That link is right down below. It's free to sign up. It's free to read a lot of stories we have on the website. So if you've enjoyed this content, if you're enjoying our YouTube channel, we got a lot more details, a lot more scoop over on Dawg Post. So make sure you sign up. Again, it's free. It's free to sign up. That newsletter is right down below. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you on the website.